Welcome to Rauta's Underground Trio. Once again, we have 3 different albums from the Underground, which I'm gonna guide you through and talk about their latest releases. One band is from Norway, and 2 bands are from United States. But the variety of things, we have death metal, we have black metal, we have thrash metal. And some of these are even a little bit of crossover nature. First, quick look in alphabetical order, and then I will talk about them in worst to best order according to my own opinion, and as always, feel free to disagree. First we have Corpus Offal from United States. This is old school death metal. Then we have Maltuka from Norway. This is thrash and MCD. Then we have Tubal Cain from also USA, and this is more black metal. But more than that, just because it's a little bit of crossoverish. First we'll go to their world of Corpus Offal. This is the self-titled release, and as you can pretty much figure out from the name already, this is death metal, and this is the very old school way. So it's heavy, it's kind of a rusty, it's cavernous, it's definitely not polished, meaning that this is kind of a retro-ish take on the whole old school death metal thing. I mean, just go and rewind back to the early 90s and you know roughly what I'm talking about. It's not the technical kind of stuff, it's not even the most brutal kind of stuff, it's more about like, let's do a little bit autopsy and throw in maybe some incantation, and roughly that's where you are. So you have all the guts, you have all the blood, you have all the intestines, and you're gonna go with, you know, just playing around with intestines and whatnot. But the question is, do you really need this kind of stuff? Now, this is obviously a trick question. If you're an old school fanatic and you like kind of a dirty, not too technical, but kind of a back to basics, run-of-the-mill death metal, well, obviously you want to have this, because this is basically that gets kind of you back. Obviously, it's fake nostalgia when you really can't think about, say, 1992, think about death metal and talk about Corpus Offal, because it's so much newer band. But let's face it, if you're a fan of the given style and you want to just have a little bit more of that, I mean, 90s are long gone, but you want to go back, but just with something different. This is the stuff you want to go with. Just don't expect anything revolutionary, nothing original as such, and you're good to go. So maybe not the album of the year, but decent in its own genre. Then we'll go to another part of United States with Tubal, which is quite of an interesting thing, because basically they are black metal. But let's be honest about it, there is quite a bit of thrashiness and even kind of basic heavy metal things going on. It's definitely more melodic, not the most, say, grim, raw and violent kind of black metal, but definitely goes to the black metal department with the rather shrieky and raspy vocals. Yes, there are 2 sets of vocals, and to be honest, I didn't go for very detailed background check because it goes beyond the scope of this video, but I was thinking this is more like I'm guessing a couple, but maybe siblings, I don't know. Anyway, people sharing some surnames, and then the third wheel. And this trio has as such created something that is very interesting kind of a black metal. I say interesting because this is not your typical kind of stuff. First of all, the melodic black metals is not exactly the kind of, you know, you would think about coming from Sweden and Norway, but a little bit different. Yes, the guitar harmonies kind of remind you of just kind of a traditional heavy metal. And then you have this heavy metal similar thing going on with the rather black metal-like vocals, and you have a little bit of thrashiness with some riffs, and it's all a little mind getting confused, like how I'm supposed to think of it, is what I'm supposed to say about it, because on the other hand, it's thrash and heavy metal leaning towards 80s, but your mind kind of puts it on the back of the black metal map, because certain riffs, certain parts, and especially the vocal parts, are very much black metal. So yeah, you have 2 different kind of vocals. Some are more high-pitchy, but not super shrieky, screamy kind of stuff, but roughly in that segment. And then you have the more, I guess, more run-of-the-mill kind of a raspy black metal vocals. Mind you, there's nothing wrong with neither of the styles. They're just different. And actually creates a nice layer of variety with the music. But when it comes to the songwriting, I'm a little bit on the words like, is it actually good or just like decent? And I'm thinking there are lots of nice ideas, but the execution is not right there. And another note, I guess the production could be a lot more powerful, more impactful for this kind of stuff. Because when it comes to more melodic stuff, obviously you want to have the crisp, clear melodics, not just something that you do in the rehearsal room. Let's be honest about it, I am way more critical when it comes to black metal such as this, when it comes to the production. It's one thing to do very raw and stuff like that when you do, say, early Dark Throne or bands like Ilion or all of those raw end of black metal bands. But when you want to do the less cavernous style and want to focus more on the, say, the mysterism, Satanist kind of thing, or dissection for that matter, you want to have the great production. And unfortunately, it's not here yet. Maybe when the band gets more success, more name and all that stuff, some label is like, hey, here's some cash, make it sound like it was supposed to do. But definitely a promising name, and who knows, maybe it will come something more interesting the next go. Now, worth a listen, definitely. Then you have this band Maltuka, which is kind of a thrash from a bunch of death metal guys, meaning these guys all play in one other band, which is a little bit older, not that old. This is very, very new. And these guys have the death metal background. So, obviously, that seeps in through the music. But obviously, there's a little bit black metallic kind of a vibe when it comes to the vocals and all, giving this a little bit of a black thrash thing. Now, Black Rite is an MCD which runs less than 18 minutes. And as such, it's kind of a short and sweet, but in my opinion, it kind of makes it a point. Some guitar parts are even reminding me of classic Slayer era, which is obviously a fucking great thing. I still think that Maltuka guys have something to work on with when we're talking about some catchy killer riff thrash metal. But apart from that, everything is here to good to go. The sound is good enough, the vocals are good enough, and the songwriting is pretty good. I mean, there's a certain level of energy which kind of makes me think, yeah, this could be a next big thing. The downside is, because this is a kind of a side project, and that is overshadowed by the main band, is that will they have the energy and focus to focus on this band rather than the main band, which is a couple of years older. Both are very new. I mean, we're talking about less than 5-year-old bands, so who knows how the stream will flow eventually. So far, good things happening here, and as such, this is my best of the pile in this episode of things. As always, links are provided in the description box so you can figure out which ones you want to listen to, which ones you want to dig more information for, and all that stuff. So off you go, give it a chance, and good job by all of these brands. See you with the next Underground Trio episode. Take care.